Hello, 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 hello. Thank you for joining in. Thank you so much. Thank you for your commitment to this webinar. We are so happy to have you here. We'll just wait a bit for some of us to join in, then we can kick off so we don't go for too long. I hope you cannot hear me. Thank you for joining in. Yomi, I can see you. Obina, thank you. Fumbi, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. You're welcome. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining. We're starting in about 2 minutes. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for joining. Thank you. Thank you, Adekunle Bello. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you. Okay, so it's 12:05. We're going to commence now, so we don't drag it for too long. Thank you for joining in once again. I'm glad to have everyone here. With me is Pharmacist Sheifumi Oladapo. Is going to be doing justice to the topic stress and my well-being. Thank you, Pharmacist Sheifumi. Thank you for joining in as well. Thank you for accepting to do this. So while people come in, we'll keep on rolling so that we don't waste too much time. My name is Mojisola Fagbonlu. I am the moderator for today. I'll be taking us through, alongside Pharmacist Sheifumi, I'll be taking us through stress and my well-being. I know that we have questions. I'm certain we have questions concerning this particular topic. And I know that from because myself and Pharmacist Sheifumi, we were having a conversation about the particular topic, and we realized that one sitting would not do it justice. There's a lot to talk about. There are different areas to touch on this particular topic. And we know the climate we're in. This is Nigeria. Anything can stress you, anything at all. Getting a cup of water can stress you. So, the best way to deal with that is to actually know ways to respond to stress. That's why we have a pharmacist here who is well-grounded in the health sector, who will be taking us through the series of questions that we have gotten or we have put together, while we also take your questions, because we would like to get feedback from you. There's a reason why you're here. You have questions that you would like for us to answer. So you can put that in the chat box, while we take it towards the end of the webinar. But I'm certain that whatever it is that we're going to be talking about, it will be something that touch on something you have in mind. So like I said, let me introduce myself briefly again. My name is Mojisola Fagbonlu, the product marketing and communication specialist for Parkway Projects. All my career experience has been in marketing communications and brand communications. That is why I have with me Pharmacist Sheifumi Oladapo, who is in the health sector. So I'm here to learn as well. Things are stressing me, so I'm here to learn as well. So Pharmacist Sheifumi, you have the floor. Please take us through your career experience, just let us know you. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, Moji again. And hello, everyone. I hope you can all hear me.
Yes,
just to
certainly.
Be sure.
Certainly, I can hear you. If you in the audience, please just put your hands up if you can hear us in the chat box, please.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
That'll be helpful.
But you can go ahead. I can hear you clearly.
Okay, so like
yes,
you've already introduced, I'm a trained pharmacist, and I also work in marketing product management now with a pharma company. I have a couple of years of technical and leadership um, spheres in health, right? And from community to hospital. So I've touched base with quite important facets of pharma practice, that's pharmacy practice, and a health practice also. And
Mm-hmm.
well, I'm currently, like I said, I'm in marketing, and I also do a bit of consulting for startups, community pharmacies also. And I also have a business on the side. I supply and consult for companies that want to start up their pharmacies and all that. So, and that's just a bit of one of the many things that I do.
Thank
I'm super
you.
excited to
Thank you
be
so
here,
much.
and I'm
We're glad
just
to
ready
have you.
to pour, share, and also to learn also from people. I'm sure our
Right?
guests today, people joining in will also be able to give us feedback throughout the chat. So I'm excited. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, from your experience, I believe that you've encountered a lot of stress-related complaints and
Yeah,
ailments and all of that. So, I mean, those are the things that we'll probably be interested in because people don't rate stress. Permit my English. They don't rate stress. they make it look
absolutely.
like, yes, they make it look like, okay, it's just stress. We know what stress can translate to. So those are the things that would be touchlighting on to say, okay,
Okay.
you need to pay more attention to your stressors. You need to pay more
Yes.
attention to what is stressing you. You need to know how to deal with it. So
Yes.
we'll be unpacking a lot of this, so that we can at least have a knowledge of what we can do to deal with these things.
Yeah.
So we'll be diving right in. Thank you, Pharmacist Shefumi, for that very wonderful introduction of yourself. Would actually take it from the top to define what stress is. Is it a bad thing? Is it a good thing? So we'll just start from there and then we'll take it all the way down. I mean,
Yeah.
you
Okay.
have the floor. You have the floor.
Okay. One of the things you just mentioned now is people don't rate stress, right?
You don't rate
And I think
stress.
I think it's because it's intangible. Um,
Hmm.
it's not malaria. It's not an infection. It's not catarrh. It's not
Right.
a respiratory infection. It seems to be intangible. You can't really place what it is. And I hope that, from today we'll be able to just we have a bit of understanding of how stress actually works, right?
Hmm.
Well, stress is actually it's your body's natural response to change, to both
Hmm.
external or internal change, right? It could be a change that is threatening, it could be a change that is challenging, or something
Hmm.
that requires you to put out more effort of energy, right? So that's what stress is. And the truth is, I think God did a very beautiful work when He designed the body, because what He did was He had designed systems for us to be able to handle stress when it comes. Now,
Hmm.
when you are going through stress, when maybe you're at work and your demands are sort of increasing, the deliverables are increasing,
Hmm.
or your boss just comes and says, okay, we need to take on this project, or
Hmm.
you found a need, you have a business, you want to drive something, and it requires you to be all out there, put in the energy time. Your body actually has a stress management system.
Hmm.
So there's what we call stress hormones.
Okay.
It's called the stress hormone. Yeah, that's cortisol. That's what it's called. I might dabble into some scientific terms, so just pardon me, but I
I'm picking up
always
my
clarify.
notepad so that I can be, jotting these things down.
Yeah. So
Go on.
when we're stressed, the body releases this hormone called cortisol
Hmm.
and adrenaline. So this hormones are what the body uses to be expended during this time. So you might
Okay.
notice that when you are maybe you have to work overtime or more time, you see that your body just finds a way to adjust, to the changes, to the demands. That's your body's
Hmm.
way of managing stress. And when you've finished that period of time, the body is supposed to just manage it back. Sort of all the systems begin to just close up because the stressors are no longer in the picture. So there's no
Okay.
point producing those hormones anymore, right? So
Okay.
that's how the body actually manages. So you can't. I wouldn't say stress is not a bad thing. It's a given. If you are if you are a human being in this world, and particularly you are Nigerian, you will be stressed. You
Living in
know,
Lagos.
living in Lagos. I just saw a funny video from I think
El
El
Rufai.
Rufai.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
couldn't stop
I saw that
laughing.
video too.
you know. So I mean, it's normal. It's just a normal reaction of your body to anything that's challenging, or or just life threatening. You know, we say there's a fight and flight response when you're faced with
Mm.
something. That's the
Yeah.
stress system too. So so it's not really a bad thing, but it is its management that we should now talk about. Like you already mentioned that we have stressors, right?
Yeah.
Those stressors are things that need to be taken out of the picture for the body to revert to its normal state. So,
Okay, so like you have explained this now, and it sounds very sweet to the ears. Trust me. But then I'm trying to marry. I'm bringing it down to the Nigerian experience.
yeah.
So does it mean that our body is constantly producing these stress hormones because it looks like we don't go back, or is this my
Well,
assumption? It feels like we don't snap back to what our body should be. We just continue with So is it that we break down at the point where the stress hormones are tired of producing stress hormones, or like? 'Cause
okay. So now God should help me because this thing is actually very broad.
I,
so,
I I
so
rightfully said that it's a huge one.
it's a
We can't
huge
even.
one,
It's not something
right?
to be dissected in one sitting, but we'll try.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, when your body produces these hormones naturally, when those stressors are removed from the picture, like maybe when you leave Lagos traffic and you're back home and you're eating a very good meal, nourishing to the body, and you've been able to get some rest, the stressors are actually out of the picture. So your body is now trying to get back its homeostasis, its balance back, its rhythm back.
Hmm.
So yes, you face stress a lot of times, but your body also it's not as if your body is always under stress. No, that's not it. If you are able to rest, because that's the way your body actually recuperates from
Hmm.
all the stress, the stressors, the heavy
Yeah.
work. So that's how your body actually does that. So for me, it's hilarious when people tell me, oh, I don't really sleep. 3 hours, I'm good. Okay, okay. That's true. You
That's
know,
why I'm saying that this climb is actually quite, when it comes to stress, it's almost like we've
it
internalized
is
stress,
stress.
we've embraced it, and we've made it our own. That's how I feel that we react to stress. It's like because okay, now you explained that what it takes for the body to go back. Can everyone hear me? Okay.
So
Can can you hear me? Because
yes, we
you
can.
froze for a
Yes,
bit.
yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, so we've internalized stress. So you were saying that the way the body gets back to its normal state is for you to rest, go home to a healthy meal and all of that. First and foremost, we don't go home to rest. We go home to continue. Like, so I'm starting to get a proper picture of why people don't return back to their actual body states. Okay,
Yes,
okay, okay.
yes,
Thank you,
yes,
Yomi, for
yes,
that.
yes.
Thank
That's
you.
true.
So I'm now wondering, okay, this is something we need to take out, that we need to actually rest. If you've gone through that type of day, it is now important to rest. So I don't want us to dwell too much on defining stress so that we can at least
Okay,
cover
all
all
that. Yes.
the questions that we want to. So how do I know that I'm stressed? How do one knows that okay, I am actually stressed? What tells you that you're stressed?
Well, I mean, they're the classical. What I from my research, what I've been able to gather from time, is there are four manifestations with stress. We have the cognitive symptoms, you have the emotional symptoms, you have the. So I'll just run through it, but I want you to give me just 1 second, right? I want to just quickly make an
Okay,
adjustment to my setup here. So please 1 second.
all right. So while we wait for Pharmacist Sheikh for me, I would like for us to also drop in our questions. I know we have some questions that we already collated, but we'll take questions from the audience towards the end of the webinar. It's important that we hear from you. It's important that we take your questions. It's important that we answer the reason why you're here. So I would like to have your questions in the chat box
Okay,
if you have one.
so
Thank you. All
so
right,
I'm
it's
back.
back. So
Okay,
yeah,
yes, yes. So it's Nigerian network that wants to be stressed too, but I'm not
you
going
see
to
what I'm
agree for
saying?
them. you know,
Yeah, let's go on.
So yes, the four symptoms. We have the cognitive. That has to do with the brain, right? So people tend
Okay.
to, when they're stressed, you see that they forget things easily. They lack concentration. There's
Mm-hmm.
poor decision making, and you find them worrying a lot. Any little thing just gets you very bothered, right? So those are the cognitive manifestations of stress. Now you have the
Okay.
emotional. You get home,
Mm-hmm.
you're stressed, you are moody, you are easily irritable, you have that feeling of just being overwhelmed, or
Mm-hmm.
just being, there's just a lot to do. That's stress,
My enemies
actually.
are after me.
My, you know, and depression is another manifestation under emotional symptoms. And I know we're still going to talk about mental health because that's where depression is hugely
That's yeah.
involved in. So those are the emotional symptoms. You have the physical symptoms. You have aches, body aches, tiredness. Sometimes you just feel like you have malaria symptoms, but
Right.
it's not really malaria symptoms. It's
And
actually
then we now
stress.
that's the part where we now go and start treating for malaria because we saw few
Do you
mosquitoes flying
understand?
around.
So I mean, you treat it, you might feel a lot better maybe after 1 day, 2 days, but you haven't removed the stressors. So those symptoms now
Mm-hmm.
come back. You now come back to the pharmacy or to the doctor and you're saying, doctor, I don't think those drugs work here. They did not work at all. Madam,
Wow.
what you are going through is just stress, you know, right?
Okay,
So
so
those are
I like
physical
that. I like
symptoms.
that I'm hearing
Yeah.
this from you because most times you don't hear people tell like you go to the hospital, they take your blood, right? They run a test. Is it easy? This is even a question, but I mean, because I don't think there's one time I've gone to the hospital for malaria symptoms and then I came back and they told me, oh, it's stress. So no, it's either they find malaria or typhoid, and at that point it might not even be it. From what you're saying, you can liken
Yeah.
stress to malaria symptoms. So it's not every time that
I
you
mean,
have that. Go on, go
so
on.
the thing with malaria is it's malaria is endemic, right? It's something that is like it's part of us now, right? So I mean, even with science, what research has shown us is that there is in almost every human being, right? There is a measure in every human that lives in an endemic malaria endemic region, right? You
Mm-hmm.
have the malaria parasites resident in the body. Now, is it at a level that can cause infection? No, because your immune system is able to take care of that level of the parasite in the body. But eventually, when maybe you're stressed and it's multiplying under the right
Mm-hmm.
conditions,
Mm-hmm.
that's when it now becomes malaria. But for everybody, you would have everyone is said to have a measure of malaria parasites in the body. Of course, not in its pathological phase or in the phase where it can cause disease, right? But so
Okay.
that's the thing. So if you go to any hospital, they might always say 1 plus. They'll just tell you it's 1 plus. It's not. They'll tell you it's not. It's not too much. It's not too much. It's just small. It's very humorous things. But a lot of times, stress actually triggers diseases. So it might be that the stress triggered the malaria infection, right? It triggered, you know, we're going to talk about its complications, I think, maybe later on as we,
Okay.
as we go on
Yeah.
in the
Yeah. I think it's a
conversation.
part
So
that yeah.
that talks about that. So we'll talk about that. So those are the physical symptoms. Let me just wrap that up. Chest pain sometimes, palpitations, your heart just starts to beat, you're not able to sleep well. So those are the physical symptoms. Then the behavioral symptoms, eating a lot or not eating at all. Like for
Hmm.
me, let
Two
me confess,
opposites.
when I'm stressed, I eat, I eat a lot. I just want to keep something in my mouth. I have
I
a
hope it's
friend.
fruits you're eating. Oh, let's not find you.
Let's
I hope it's.
let's move on. Let's move on. you know, but there are people eat. Some people don't even eat. I have a friend that when she's stressed, she eats bread, and I can see her in the in the attendees list. I'm not going to mention her name.
No offense.
I'm sure she would laugh when she hears this. But there are people have different ways they handle stress behaviorally, right? So for people, some people eat more, some people don't eat, some people oversleep, some people
Mm-hmm.
might not be able to sleep well. So it varies with people. You see that you just like to you just prefer to isolate yourself. Let me not deal with
Mm-hmm.
anybody's pressure or issue, please. Let me just be on my own. Let me just go solo. Those are other signs, right? Procrastination.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
is one
okay.
of the major ones. Procrastination. Just wanting to, because the truth is, when you're stressed, you don't have that will or energy to take
You
on new
don't,
projects,
yeah.
to take on new tasks. So it's almost like, so just I will do it. When your boss, have you sent the report? Don't worry, I will send it. I will send it. Don't worry about it. So those
Okay.
are
So
those are that
I'm
captures
seeing
it, yeah?
some similarities. Yeah, it does. Thank you very much for that. I'm seeing some similarities between stress and depression. I don't know if
Yes.
is there a bloodline there, or is there like are they two different distinct things, or there's a bloodline between stress
What what I would say
and
with that
depression?
is it's that is predisposing. Stress predisposes one to depression. So there's actually a link, right?
Oh,
So we have not talked about what causes stress, right? And it varies for different people. They are the emotional, family-related troubles, relationship troubles that can predispose one to emotional stress that can lead to depression. So there's actually a link between
okay, okay,
stress
okay.
and
Yeah, I
depression.
see. I
Yes.
see.
Yeah. So
Okay, so let's just dive.
I would also like to ask that, if you're listening in, it's a good time to actually make notes. And I mean, not notes about what we're saying, but for you, try and identify what your stressors are. What are those things that,
Yeah,
what are your stressors, and what are those hallmark signs that, once I'm stressed, I start to eat. I feel emotional. I'm very cranky. I see someone has sent something. I find it difficult to
yeah.
sleep these days. I
I tend to
tend
sleep late
to
and wake
sleep
up
late and wake
early.
up early, like sleep by 1, 2, wake up by 3, 4. Also difficult to eat. I'm also emotional. Don't worry, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Thank you for sharing.
These
So
are indicators of stress. Huge one.
yes. Sleeping late, waking up early, not being able to sleep well. Yeah. So maybe I'm listening.
Hmm. Okay, so yeah, we're going to the next one, which says, why am I stressed? Like, yes, I now know that I'm even stressed, but why am I stressed?
Mm, why are you stressed? Because you are in Nigeria. Because you are in this world. I mean,
Are we
it's
saying that if we leave this climb and go to somewhere else, are you saying that these things would actually reduce to a reasonable
yeah,
level?
yeah.
Is
Let
that
me
is that
not
what you're
lie.
saying?
So so for stressors vary, and there's a lot of environmental implications with stress, right?
Hmm.
Um, I mean, if you are living in a climate where commuting to work is not an issue, you just need to enter a train. You can still
Right.
catch some sleep. You have some time to
Hmm.
yourself,
You're not worried about
on the
your phone being
train.
stolen. You're not worried about being kidnapped
You get,
or entering one
you're not
chance
worried
bus.
about. It's so bad that I know people that stay in the farther parts of Lagos and maybe are trying to come to the other sides of Lagos. If they don't get to, let's say, their bus stops by certain times, they're
They're
going to
done
miss
for
the
that
bus,
morning.
and that's stress because you're going to get work late. Then you're probably going to get fined. So a lot of things. So there are certain environmental factors that, of course, predispose people to stress. There are different types of stressors. There are let me say, internal stressors and the external stressors. Let me just go at it through, with that demarcation. External stressors are things that happen to you from the outside, that affect you,
Hmm.
maybe work. Internal is mostly things that go on within your thoughts, how you're processing relationships, how you're processing a lot of things that are happening internally. So those are the two classifications. So for like I said, it's very broad. I don't know what it would work for me. What might trigger stress, with me might be different from what triggers stress with you. So I think maybe people can just share, what are the things that, trigger you, or what are your stressors? I
Yeah.
think
What do you
that's
feel
one of the
like?
things, because it's very
Yes.
broad. Yeah. So you can just drop it in the comment section, while Moji just takes us further.
Okay, so thank you for that. In fact, I'm learning a lot and I'm actually enjoying this session. Like, it's bringing me clearer. Well, let's go on. What are the health complications related to stress? I think this was the part you tried to touch on the other time. What are the
Okay,
health complications
like we
related to
said,
stress?
one of the things that happens during stress is that the body produces what we call, um, no, let me look for. I'm trying not to sound too scientific. We call it free radicals, right? Um,
I've heard that
but
before.
what free radicals, right? So those are, like, you say, like, byproducts, toxic byproducts, that are actually harmful. But within the body, your body has an antioxidant system that mops up those free radicals. You have the immune system to, sort of clear those toxic chemicals out of the body. Let me just put it like that. So I, I wanted to also say that your food can also be a stressor. There are certain foods that we eat that can
Okay.
trigger stress, because you are not,
Okay.
there are things that you're taking internally, but they are not actually giving any nutritional value, and their byproducts are harmful to the body.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's a whole different conversation. How diet actually affects the body. So, but like I said, the body has that internal system. But with stress, when stress, um, now there is what you call good stress. There are certain things that happen to
Okay.
you
This
that
good stress.
can,
Okay.
yeah, yes, and I'm going to, we call it eustress. That's eustress. Eustress. That's good type of stress. That a change happens within your environment, and maybe you just have this burst of energy. You go for, you can, like, maybe you get a promotion at work, or you just get to work and you get a bonus, or, maybe your boss just says, let me do something nice for you for the weekend, and just get this your account
Wait,
shifts. You understand?
is this what we term as adrenaline? Because I don't like, you know.
Yes, I said that when the body undergoes those changes within the environment, the body produces cortisol, that's the stress hormone, and adrenaline, that's the other hormone.
Oh
So that's
yeah, true.
that's the that's the good part. Oh, I can't. This is a good thing. Let me, it gives you that energy. It gives you that energy to, okay, let's do this. Let's go. Because if my boss should send me money, I'll be very motivated. I will. What do you want? We deliverable. It's we come in tonight. I'm like that. So I mean, it's just one of those things, right? So there's actually good stress and there's distress. That's bad stress. That's
Okay.
when, and if I'm just going to establish something, stress happens when your energy or your resources per time cannot match up to what is being demanded of you. That's what happens. And
Hmm.
when it happens
Hmm.
over time like that, it becomes chronic. There's the acute stress of,
Oh.
okay, when something happens to you instantly, just need to push, you need to just push. Yes, you feel that immediate stress, but it doesn't really last for long. Once you're able to rest,
Mhm.
you get back on track. But there's also chronic stress. That means there are stressors that don't resolve and their impacts accumulate over time. So
Hmm.
that's a
Okay.
different aspect too. So the fact that you have there's a stressor that you are observing, but you have not really addressed. Perhaps is maybe a relationship that you have not resolved. Maybe a relationship that you had that, maybe there's misunderstanding, but you are just
No closure.
procrastinating or you're not dealing with it.
Yeah.
It is
Mm.
subtle and it is just
It
building up,
continues to
it's
grow.
building up, it
Mm.
continues to grow till you now have burnouts, and those are very bad manifestations of distress. So, but for complications, I'm doing all of this because I'm trying to create a context
You're
to
building
how
it, yeah.
things
Mm.
things happen with the body. So when all these stressors are being unattended to, unresolved, the chemicals are building up, they start to affect the body system. So, like I was saying that um, for a lot of people now, people that have asthma, once they are stressed, their asthma worsens. For people that have blood pressure, there are a lot of scientific undertones, but I won't just go into that. But it's something that is very basic. When you are stressed, you see that your blood pressure rises. Um, your blood pressure rises. I had a friend that called me yesterday that he'd been working overtime and he just noticed that he was having this throbbing headache. He could not sleep well. I just
Mm,
told him, you know what, check your blood pressure. He checked it. He doesn't have, he's someone that doesn't have any history. None of his family members have blood pressure. And I just told him that, okay, check your blood pressure. And he sent it to me and it was slightly elevated. And I'm like,
mm,
have you been resting well? Have you been sleeping well? What have you been doing? Well, I've not really been eating well. I've been working overtime. I
mm.
mean, that's that. So your blood pressure rises for a lot of people that have diabetes and are trying to manage their blood sugar. When you're stressed, it's harder for you to be able to control your blood sugar. That's another thing because
Also,
that's one of the mechanisms that the body uses to meet up, to sort of match up to the energy your body needs when you're stressed because your body needs more energy. So it sort of produces more sugar. It
wow.
converts the stored sugar and so your blood sugar rises. One of the other things is your immune system actually weakens. So when you're stressed, some people might fall ill to infections. Sometimes it's as little as having this very annoying cold. You're just sneezing or you just have catarrh and it's running. And
Hmm.
you are asking that, wait, does anybody have any respiratory infection around? No. Was I exposed to dust?
Right,
No. Then why am I
right.
sneezing? You know, it is
Hmm.
actually stress because stress actually affects the immune system, weakens the immune system.
And not that
So,
somebody is calling your name somewhere. Hmm.
right, some people, some people is ulcer. When they are stressed, they
Wow.
begin to have ulcer and they have indigestion. You won't be able to sleep. For some people, because it even affects the immune system, if you have a wound, the wound will not heal quickly.
Oh, wow.
It just
Yeah,
becomes
because
a
the immune
sore.
system,
So
yeah, it's slow, yeah.
yes. So many some people when they're stressed is breakouts. Their skin will just give them away. I'm one of those people. Someone very
Oh,
close to me was telling me that when I'm stressed, my skin just gets very dark. And I'm like, are you serious? She's like, yes, it's true. Because I was just having that conversation with her yesterday. She's like, she's observed that anytime I'm stressed and my face just gets very dark.
so it's important to
So
even
yeah,
know what your stress signs are so that you
right.
can quickly
So you can
backtrack.
quickly,
Mm.
backtrack. So that's sort of like health implications. There are so many of them, but just to
Because
give
of
a brief,
time,
yeah.
yeah. So we'll go to the next one. Can stress be completely eradicated? Even though I know the answer to this, I would like to hear you address it. Can
What do
stress
you
be
think?
completely
What do you think? Let me ask you what.
First and foremost, if you want to address the stress to a particular level, first change your location.
Uh, so are you telling me to jackpot? No, now, no, now.
I said change
That's what
location.
we're doing here.
I said change location. That's all I said.
Mhm.
No, but let's hear it from you. Let's hear it from you.
Someone
Someone
said
said
life is
life and
stress.
stress is 5 and 6. Right.
Wow.
But
So
then let's
stress like going with the definition we earlier established. Stress um is what your body does or how your body responds to challenges. So only the dead man cannot be stressed. That's just it.
right.
If you're a human being, you're alive, and you're in this world, you're going to be stressed. But how you manage it is the question, right? How you manage it is what we should be talking about. How you make sure that even whenever you feel bad stress or distress, you're able to make the necessary changes to get back to the body's normal rhythm, right? So I think that's what I would say. Stress is not, except you are dead. You are going to be stressed. It's just that's just life. I'm sorry about that,
I
but
vote I vote for the good stress anytime, any day.
yeah. I mean,
The good one.
someone just credit my account now. I'm very
In
happy.
hard currency. That's a good stress.
Come on. I like that. so
Okay, so we know that
so I
stress
was
cannot
gonna
be completely eradicated, but can be
yeah,
controlled. So what are the ways to control stress?
okay.
Like how can we manage it?
So, like, and that's why I really wanted people to, yeah, take down notes, right? Try and identify what your stressors are, what your signs are, then it will sort of shape how your management is going to, because it's really individualized. What causes stress in one person might be different from what causes stress in another person, and how it's going to be managed
Mm-hmm.
might slightly differ because of the stressors in question. So, I mean, they're just there's a general approach. Your diet is one of the things that you can do to help you cope better. Um, Rest is another thing. Um, now, now there's certain things you can do. You can institutionalize for yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you a question. When last have you gone to a hospital to do a full health check?
Well,
Let me ask you
never,
that.
never,
Right.
never,
So
because honestly, I don't feel like stress is
you're not stressed
is
that.
detectable in the hospital.
I mean, you can't detect, you can't really say you are measuring stress, but you can measure these complications. You can measure those manifestations. Like if you notice that um, can stress cause stroke or minor paralysis, it can trigger that. There's, it can, yes. Someone asked a question. I just wanted to respond to that.
Okay.
Yes. So for us, right, we can in terms of management, being able to have routine checks. And I think that's one of the things we have to appreciate about the community pharmacies around us. We need to utilize them more because there are certain checks you can do just within that small setup that can just, I mean, you can walk into any pharmacy now in Lagos really and say, can I check my blood pressure? It's mostly free, most pharmacies. Except they charge you 100 naira, 200 naira,
Oh,
whatever.
okay.
You can check your blood sugar. Those are routine checks you should do just to make sure that you are you're keeping watch over your health, because at the end of the day, no one has any responsibility for your life except you, right? So
Right.
you need to own that. Then there was something we talked about when we first before this chat,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
When we said what fills your tank, being able to relax and feed yourself, right? So that's something that I've learned for over the years, and something that I personally try and do. So I identify what are things that I do that make me feel good. What are things that I do that replenish my energy, my emotions.
Right.
I mean, I know I also tell you that sleep is one of those things. If I can sleep for a good period of time, just give me good food, let me be in a very conducive environment. Sometimes for a lot of people, going for parties replenishes their energy. That's one of the ways you can actually um, manage manage stress, manage stress. Diet, diet is another thing.
Hmm.
Hmm. And this one is I see you're smiling already.
So we had a conversation about this diet bit, how it affects stress and how we can, and I'm just smiling. I don't know if you recollect our conversations around this about how we feel like most of us feel like to eat healthy in Nigeria it's a different it's a capital project. Like it's something that in
Hmm.
fact your
You
account will
know,
feel it.
so as much as we say this, right? See, urbanization has brought, I would say it has brought more harm than evil, but we threw caution to the wind, right? When
Mm-hmm.
urbanization came, because our parents, you see that they live, our grandparents, let me say our grandparents, they live
Great
long,
grandparents.
great grandparents. My own grandma, she, I feel she's more, she's physically stronger than I am, because this woman can say, she's in her 80s, and she tell you that I have no problem cutting grass, I have no problem doing this. And I'm like, why? Because it me, like, the moment I bend down,
Siri, cut the grass
will
for me.
I, yeah. you
Like,
know, so
hmm,
it's very, very funny. It's very funny. So and that's the thing with that, because for them, they have been able to they do more natural things than we do, and they have tried to pass down those things. But we are the urban people. We don't need to tell you that, oh, do more vegetables. And then, no, don't worry. Just
just let me digress a bit. So something just came to my mind, like, okay, you wanted to gift your grandmother who is 80 years old something for her birthday, and then you buy a deep freezer. She's looking at you like, don't know. She most of them, mama, like, do I drink cold water? Why you like all
fantastic,
those things? So like,
fantastic.
if they even find a way to store their food and stuff, I don't know how they did it back then. They
It's
put it in
funny
the
because
freezer and
even
stuff.
my own grandmother, she doesn't like. She gets offended when you bring out soup that is frozen from the freezer. She tells you she's not eating.
Hmm.
I'm not eating.
Hmm.
I'm not eating. It's 2 days. Why is it 2 days? And I'm like,
Everything has to
this
be
woman,
fresh.
are you in Lagos?
And they
I
are,
don't
and they were not
know you're in
stressed.
Lagos.
They were not stressed back then when they were having
But
to
well,
prepare meals per day.
well, there's that part. But I mean, for her, she had a business she was doing, so it wasn't like she was just. But it had just become culture to constantly feed her body with the right things, right? So with diet, you can actually make better choices. With better choices with food. You know, like for me, I was saying that subconsciously, if I take a soft drink, I know that it's like I've told my body that, okay, so you have taken enough sugar for the next 5 days. You know, let's just avoid it. Being able to cut back on those things is a good way to start. Now, there are certain foods that naturally help to manage stress. You have vegetables generally. We talked about fruits, smoothies. We it's just as if anything that has to do with change is like our brain just devises a means to tell you no, no, it's too much. But if you actually start and you're able to track, you'll be able to make those changes. It's changes bit by bit, but you can do it, right? Spinach is one of those things. Ugu, it has a lot of it has a lot of healthy. Why are you not doing? Why are you,
Spinach
why are
and
you,
ugu. Okay. You're
I
supposed to blend
mean,
that and drink that.
no. You can make it as a meal. They have the
Okay,
vitamins, they
okay, okay.
have the magnesium, for
Yeah.
example, that helps to manage stress that has to do with muscle aches, has a lot of benefits. Um, Better choices. I mean, I would tell people there's nothing you are doing with red meat, at a certain age, there's nothing you're doing with red meat because it's not going to do any good for your body. You have fish that has omega-3 fatty acids that help the heart, help the blood vessels function properly. So we can make choices.
Mm.
Almonds, those ground nuts, they have healthy benefits. And you just need to have that frank conversation with yourself that, see, at the end of the day, right, we are a product of our decisions. That's just the truth. When it concerns our health and every other part of our body, every part of our life, it's a product of the decisions we make. And if we are not making any decisions, no miracle is going to happen. So let me just
Okay,
leave
so
it there.
yeah, shape for me. So we might have to run quickly because we have a few more minutes till the end of this webinar. So let's just talk about as an employer or employee.
Yes.
What are your responsibilities in managing stress? Like, how do you maintain good work-life balance? You know, how does this, affect like your mental health?
Mm,
Let's just try and measure all of that together in this particular question so that we can start to wrap up.
okay. So as an employee, how do I manage my? I mean, first off, identify what type of organization that you're working.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, if it's a toxic one, you must start to map out your exit, because the toxic
Right.
environment doesn't do you any good, to be very honest. Now, a number of Nigerians are lazy. Let me put that out there. Nobody really wants to work. Nobody really wants to work. Well, not I would say everybody, but quite a lot of Nigerians don't want to put in the work. Because you just whine, no, I want to get paid.
Okay,
But
okay. They want a job, but they don't want to put in the work.
they don't want to put in the work. Yes, that's what I mean. So yes, working or hard work doesn't mean you will be stressed all the time. It's what your job demands, and you should be able to devise your life such a way to meet up this expectation. So I'm trying to balance it, from that regard. But in terms of handling stress, right? If you have identified that you are stressed, you can kick back, right? There are certain things you can do. You have the internal management, you have the things that you can do personally within yourself to help manage your stress levels. Another thing we should explore is emotional support from colleagues, being able to share. Like I said, you can't do all of these things in the toxic environment, in the toxic work environment. So that's not even up, is not a question, right? Because if you're having a boss that constantly hacks down on you, is speaking down on you, or you're not even enjoying your job, you have to really review the situation of things, right? So that's one way. Emotional support, talking about it, social support, getting your colleagues, share, but you're not sharing just to complain, but you're sharing to see how you're sharing with somebody that can help you, you know, get back on track, or can help you manage whatever situation you're in. So
Right,
that's that.
right,
That's that.
right,
Then time management is one of the biggest things. Being able to say no to things that don't align with your expectations for time, because that's a lot of things. That's one aspect too. We talked about this, where you get on a job, your deliverables are not clearly defined, and you start the job,
they just start to add things and add things
start
in
to pile
between.
up, pile up, pile up, pile up till it's just, so being able to say no, say no when it's not your role, being able to say no when you can actually let it go. You are not if you're an employee, you do not start the company. So somebody else, the job will get done. So just having that understanding that it's only it's only a healthy person that can contribute effectively to an organization. So you need to take care of yourself. You need to pay attention to yourself, because if you don't do it, nobody's going to do it for you. And if
Right.
anything happens, God forbid, you will be replaced the minute you have exited.
No hard feelings. Life has to go on.
Yeah. So I mean, that's just a bit of that's
Yeah, so let me just chip in here, because we have maybe like 9 minutes, and we need to take the action steps and then also a few of the questions in the comment section. So for an entrepreneur, I know some of us are entrepreneurs here. We have our businesses that we run, and we are looking at it like, this people don't even understand the stress that's running a business is. You're trying to keep track of this, keep track of that, payments. People will fraud you, they tell you they've paid, they didn't pay, and all of that.
yeah.
you know I think those were some of the factors that bettered Bank 3D, right?
Mm,
Which is, yeah, because we looked at it like, okay, wow, people get stressed up, like, okay, I have to go out, I'm not in my store, I have my salesperson in the store, the person is calling me every 2 minutes, oh God, have you seen the alert? And I'm like, how much money is it that you are even calling me for every two seconds? So I think that was one
right,
of the,
right.
yeah, one of the huge thing that bettered Bank 3D. And then a lot of business owners, they've been victims of fraud, fake alerts,
Mm,
basically. You just come and
mm,
say, oh, I've taken goods worth 150,000 naira. Yes, I see the alert here. You really cannot, that SMS is usually exactly the same way a bank will send. So you can't tell.
mm,
The only way you can tell is when you look at your account balance, maybe on all day. I'm like, I saw this thing that was debited, and then you wait
yeah,
2 days, 3 days, and you're like,
yeah.
and it's dawning on you, and you're like, hey, my village people, my enemies have gotten me. So so
Right.
those are some of the things that, I mean, Bank 3D came out to combat. Like, okay, see, as a business owner, we're taking this stress off you. All those stress of, oh, you can't go out in peace and your phone will not ring. That's one of the things that I just wanted to chip that in as you were talking about that bit. So if you're a business owner here, and or you're watching this, get your Bank 3D app, download it from
Yes.
the App Store, from the Play Store. It's very easy to use, plug and play,
Yes.
you're good.
Yes.
So let's just take action
Fantastic.
steps, and then we
Fantastic.
close up,
Fantastic.
right? Let's
Just
have
just to
pointers.
support
Yeah.
just to support what you just shared with Bank Media. I mean, ultimately, you need effective systems if you want your
Mm-hmm.
business to grow, right? You can't be You can't be just buckling on finances at
It
that
can't be
level.
too manual,
You
because
know,
I think what I see people do is
right?
that they want to they are you have to be on ground. You're not on ground, you're almost dead where you are.
You're
You can't enjoy
right.
yourself.
You know, and also and that's self-limiting because you can't even expand your business because you
Exactly.
always have to be there, and you cannot be in multiple places at the same time,
I wonder
right?
when you're not
So
Jesus Christ.
I mean, this is a wonderful solution that has come for business owners. I mean,
Yeah,
fantastic.
we've had a lot of feedbacks of how, people that have chain stores, multiple stores, they are able to be in one place. They can even travel out of the country, and they are
Oh,
monitoring
lovely,
their different stores on their
lovely.
dashboard. Okay, this person is selling this and that. Every cashier can get their alert at the same time as the boss. So
Oh,
it
fantastic.
eradicates all of that. Like, it's more like you are smart. People are looking at you like, ah, you're living the big boy life. How are you doing this?
Yes,
So
yes, wonderful from that.
yeah, thank you. So let's just take action steps so that we can take questions and we close out. We have a few more minutes. I don't want to hold.
Okay,
Yeah.
can we just go to the questions and we'll just wrap up with action
Okay.
steps, right?
Okay, great. So there was a question about, let me just look at that again. Can stress influence blood sugar level?
Okay, I think we shared that it does. It does. Like I said, the body when the body is stressed, the body actually has an internal mechanism of producing more glucose because, in a sense, the body needs more energy when it's stressed, right? So glucose is the body's fuel, the body's energy fuel. So if you are, for example, if you're diabetic, you should expect that when you're stressed, your blood sugar levels are actually going to go up, they're going to rise.
Mm-hmm,
So,
mm-hmm.
but regardless, even if you're not diabetic or you don't have the disease, your sugar levels naturally go up when you're stressed. So I think that should answer that.
Hmm. I
Yes.
hope we're able to answer that. One, let me take this one. The one about having difficulty sleeping just a minimum or a maximum of 3 hours. Difficulty to eat, emotional. So how can I handle it and prevent it from
Okay.
overwhelming me?
Okay. What I will say with that is, now there are certain things that, of course, might not be there. There are other questions that we need to ask. Um, there are other faces we need to also capture, like history. How long has this been happening? Um, do you feel this is stress related? When did this start happening? Medical history is another thing, right? Because if you have maybe a hypertensive history, these are some of the manifestations, not being able to sleep. And it's good if you are able to see a doctor, right? To to capture this thing. But I think even with a lot of these things, also emotional, how do I handle it, difficult to eat, they're classic stress symptoms, right? So you need to identify what these stressors are, what is the reason why, what is the real issue. And I cannot answer that for you, right? So you have to be the one to clarify, okay, so is it that when this situation happened, these are the things that started, this is what caused all these manifestations to happen? Is it that, oh, there was an issue from work, or you didn't increase my deliverables at the office, or was there an issue with somebody,
Something
and
should have caused it.
something
Something
should
should
trigger
have.
that. So let's identify that. But another thing you can do is actually seeing a doctor, right? Seeing a doctor, because sleep is a big deal in Lagos. I mean, I know how
Huge
many sleep
deal.
aids that most pharmacies sell on a daily. So let's not minimize it. It's not normal for you to sleep by 1 and wake up by 3 and not being able not
You haven't
you won't
slept.
be
You
able
have
to sleep.
napped.
That's even if it was, and your body needs deep sleep for it to
To be
really
able to
repair.
recalibrate and take
Yes,
on the next day.
yes,
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
So the other
So
one, I
please, I
hope
would
we're able to
advise
answer that.
see
Yeah.
a clinician.
Yeah. So we hope that you see a
Please go
doctor
ahead.
for that. Yeah. So the other one is what is moderate? What is a moderate blood sugar level? I think this is the last question. What is a moderate blood sugar level?
Moderate blood sugar. What is ideal and is in terms of numbers when you do an assessment or when you get get tested, when your blood sugar is tested, what milligram per deciliter, the number should fall between 70 and 110. Now, when you and this test is usually done when you haven't eaten anything, and it's usually done early in the
Mm.
day, as early as 8 o'clock. It should not be. It should. The test should, I advise that the test should not be conducted anything past 9, because by that time, when your body hasn't received any external food or fuel for it to produce glucose, it starts to produce glucose from what has been
Oh,
stored in the body. So the figure will not be accurate, right? So
oh.
70, 110, do it early in the morning and do it on an empty stomach so we can get a near accurate figure to be able to be sure where the sugar lies. Yes.
Hmm. Okay, okay. I think that's thank you so much. I think that's about it with the questions. So we can just take action steps so that we close this up. We have 1 minute for that. We have
Okay.
well, I think we are very good with this. One.
Okay, action steps. Well, like we said from the beginning, identify your stressors. I would like for you to at least number maybe 3 things that you know that identify your stressors. What are the 3 things that you know you're facing currently right now that trigger stress? What are your signs? We talked about the cognitive, we talked about the manifestations, the physical manifestations.
Mm,
What are those things that once they start happening, you 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 know that you're stressed. So have them written down somewhere. And from there, we cannot have the conversation of, okay, what are the immediate changes I can make? Are there changes to my diet that I need to change? Are there are there things that within my body that I can adjust, to am I exercise can I exercise more? Can I adjust? Can I incorporate more vegetables to my meals? Can I eat more wholesome meals, right? Those are little
mm-hmm.
things. Are there activities that I can engage with that can help with refueling my tank and refueling my energy? That's another thing
Right.
I would also suggest. So identify those things and have them written down. Then go to a clinician, a physician, have these conversations with them, and they will help you. They will help you out if there's any.
Hello, can Shefumi seems to be frozen. Network issues, I presume. Can we hear me? Or am I the one with the issue?
We can hear you.
Okay, okay. I guess it's the network from his side. I mean, he was able to. Okay, okay, you're back. Yeah,
Yes, I'm back.
welcome back.
Apologies.
Okay, so those action. Yeah, go on.
Okay, no, I want to say that just for management, like I said, diets. Are there immediate changes I can do? Things I can do today that can sort of change the trajectory, right? We talked about
It's going to be
diets,
gradual,
exercise.
obviously.
With exercise, it has to be gradual, right?
Mm,
So for exercise, you don't need to start. You don't necessarily have to register in the gym tomorrow. If you cannot, if you can, it's good. If it's something you used to do before, great. You can start with simple things like taking a long walk at night, bit by
right?
bit, as
Or
it
skipping
goes.
at home or something. Just do something within, and then you increase it as you go.
Yes, so you increase it as it goes, right? Great. So things about sharing, having a group of people that you can pour out your heart to, having those
Mm,
healthy conversations. Then the other thing is what fills your tank? What are activities you can engage with that can make you feel alive, feel refreshed, re-energized?
mm-hmm.
So I think we can start from there, then progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I feel like clapping for you. I mean, you dissected this within this short frame of time. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining in. We'll make this available to you. This video is going to be available on YouTube, and then we're also going to send to your email, so you can always refer back to it. You know what it does now to repeat something over and over again. So thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Pharmacy Chef, for me. I know we'll do this again sometime.
Yes.
Bank 3D webinar is in series, so we do it from time to time. Say in the next 3 weeks, you hear from us again about another one. So thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Bank 3D. Thank you, Moji. It's great chat.
Yeah, it was quite educating.
Mm.
All right.